The Skanda Purana is the largest Mahāpurāṇa, a genre of 18 Hindu religious texts. The text contains over 81,000 verses, and is part of Shaivite literature, titled after Skanda, a son of Shiva and Parvati, who is also known as Kartikeya and Murugan. While the text is named after Skanda, he does not feature either more or less prominently in this text than in other Shiva-related Puranas. The text has been an important historical record and influence on the Hindu traditions related to war god Skanda. The earliest text, titled Skanda Purana, likely existed by the 6th century CE, but the Skanda Purana that has survived into the modern era exists in many versions. It is considered by scholars, in a historic sense, as among the shiftiest living texts, which was widely edited over many centuries, creating numerous variants. The common elements in the variant editions encyclopedically cover cosmogony, mythology, genealogy, dharma, festivals, gemology, temples, geography, discussion of virtues and evil, of theology, and of the nature and qualities of Shiva as the absolute and the source of true knowledge. The editions of Skanda Purana text also provide an encyclopedic travel handbook with meticulous Mahatmya, containing geographical locations of pilgrimage centers in India, Nepal and Tibet, with related legends, parables, hymns and stories. This Mahāpurāṇa, like others, is attributed to the sage Vyasa. Date of composition: Hariprasad Shastri and Cecil Bendel, in about 1898, discovered an old palm leaf manuscript of Skanda Purana in a Kathmandu library in Nepal, written in Gupta script. They dated the manuscript to 7th century CE, on paleographic grounds. This suggests that the original text existed before this time. R. Adrianson, H. Backer, and H. Isaacson dated the oldest surviving palm leaf manuscript of Skanda Purana to 810 CE, but Richard Mann adds that earlier versions of the text likely existed in the 6th century CE. Hans Backer states that the text specifies holy places and details about the 4th and 5th century Citraratha of Andhra Pradesh, and thus may have an earlier origin. The oldest versions of the Skanda Purana texts have been discovered in the Himalayan region of South Asia such as Nepal, and the northeastern states of India such as Assam. The critical editions of the text, for scholarly study, rely on the Nepalese manuscripts. Additional texts style themselves as Kandas of Skanda Purana, but these came into existence after the 12th century. It is unclear if the root text did belong to the Skanda Purana, and in some cases replaced the corresponding chapters of the original. Some recensions and sections of the Skanda Purana manuscripts, states Judith Tortsok, have been traced to be from the 17th century or later, but the first 162 chapters in many versions are the same as the older Nepalese editions except for occasional omissions and insertions. There are a number of texts and manuscripts that bear the title Skanda Purana. Some of these texts, except for the title, have little in common with the well-known Skanda Purana traced to the 1st millennium CE. The original text has accrued several editions, resulting in several different versions. It is therefore very difficult to establish an exact date of composition for the Skanda Purana. Structure: stylistically, the Skanda Purana is related to the Mahābhārata, and it appears that its composers borrowed from the Mahābhārata. The two texts employ similar stock phrases and compounds that are not found in the Ramayana. Some of the mythology mentioned in the present version of the Skanda Purana is undoubtedly post-Gupta period, consistent with the medieval South India. This indicates that several additions were made to the original text over the centuries. The Kashi Kanda, for example, acquired its present form around the mid-13th century CE. The latest part of the text might have been composed in as late as 15th century CE. Contents: The whole corpus of texts which are considered as part of the Skanda Purana is grouped in two ways. According to one tradition, these are grouped in 6 samhitas, each of which consists of several kandas. According to another tradition, these are grouped in 7 kandas, each named after a major pilgrimage region or site. The chapters are Mahatmyas, or travel guides for pilgrimage tourists. The 7 kandas. The Maheshwara Kanda consists of 3 sections: the Kedara Kanda, the Kaumarika Kanda, a Kumarika Kanda, and the Arunachala Kanda or Arunachala Mahatmya, further divided into 2 parts, Purvada and Uttarada. The Vishnu Kanda of Vaishnava Kanda consists of 9 sections: Venkatakala Mahatmya, Purasotamaksitra Mahatmya, Bidarikashrama Mahatmya, Kartikamasa Mahatmya, Margazirsamas Mahatmya. 17 chapters, Mathura Titha region, Bhagavata Mahatmya, Vaisakhamasa Mahatmya, Ayodhya Mahatmya, and Vasudeva Mahatmya. The Brahma Kanda has 3 sections: Satu Mahatmya, Dharmaranya Kanda, and Uttara Kanda, a Brahmatara Kanda. The Kasi Kanda is divided into 2 parts, Purvada and Uttarada. The Avantu Kanda consists of Avantaksatra Mahatmya, Katirasatilinga Mahatmya, and Rava Kanda. The Nagara Kanda consists of Tith Mahatmya. The Prabhasa Kanda consists of 4 sections: Prabhasaksitra Mahatmya, Vastrapadaksetra Mahatmya, Avuda Kanda, and Varaka Mahatmya. The 6 samhitas. The second type of division of the Skanda Purana is found in some texts like Halasya Mahatmya of the Agastya Samhita, the Amkari Samhita, Sambhava Kanda of the Amkari Samhita, Iva Mahatmya Kanda of the Sutta Samhita, and Kalika Kanda of the Sanatkumara Samhita. According to these texts, the Skanda Purana consists of 6 samhitas: the Sanatkumara Samhita, the Sutta Samhita, the Amkari Samhita, the Vaisnavi Samhita, the Brahmi Samhita, and the Saura Samhita. The manuscripts of the Sanatkumara Samhita, the Amkari Samhita, the Sutta Samhita, and the Saura Samhita are extant. A manuscript of a commentary on the Sutta Samhita by Madhavacharya is also available. These texts discuss cosmogony, theology, philosophical questions on virtues and vice, questions such as what is evil, the origin of evil, how to deal with and cure evil. The other texts, the manuscripts of several other texts which claim to be part of the Skanda Purana, are found partially or wholly. Some of the notable regional texts amongst these are Himavat Kanda, which contains Nepala Mahatmya, Kanakadri Kanda, Bhima Kanda, Avarahasu Kanda, Saphyadri Kanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Mathura Kanda, and Patala Kanda. Kaveri Mahatmya presents stories and pilgrim guide for Kaveri River and Kartikeya region. Vivsamitra Mahatmya presents mythology and a guide for Vadodara Titha region. The oldest known first millennium palm leaf manuscripts of this text mention many major Hindu pilgrimage sites, but do not describe Kailash Man of Sarovar. The later versions do, particularly in Manasa Kanda. The narratives. The Skanda Purana, like many Puranas, include the legends of the Daksha's sacrifice, Shiva's sorrow, churning of the ocean, and the emergence of Amrita, the story of the demon Tarakasura, the birth of goddess Parvati, her pursuit of Shiva, and her marriage to Lord Shiva, among others. The central aim of the Skanda Purana text, states Hans Backer, is to sanctify the geography and landscape of South Asia, and legitimize the regional Shiva communities across the land, as it existed at the time the edition was produced. The text reflects the political uncertainties, the competition with Vaishnavism, and the cultural developments with the Pashupata Hindus during the periods it was composed. Manuscripts. The Skanda Purana manuscripts have been found in Nepal, Tamil Nadu, and other parts of India. The 1910 edition included 7 Kandas: Maheshwara, Vishnu of Vaishnava, Brahma, Kasi, Avantutnagara and Prabhasa. In 1999–2003, an English translation of this text was published by the Motilal Banarsi Das, New Delhi in 20 volumes. This translation is also based on a text divided into 7 Kandas.